Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. Tonight, if you were asked to name some of Kenya's heroes of yesteryear, how many could you name? Go on. Kip Kano, and probably Kip Kano. Very few of you, I know, remember the heroes of yesterday, but they are still there, like my guest today. You may not remember who he is, you may not care, but the fact of the matter is, he is a living legend at almost the age of 80. 7 years before this country got independence, he was playing for the national team. And he played for it 7 years after independence, a total of 14 years. He became a legend in 1958 when he tackled an entire team all the way from the halfway line and scored a goal. And the name Joe Kadenge was born. You remember the phrase, Kadenge Nampira, Kadenge Nampira. That was him. All these years later, folks, he's still alive. Last 10 years, more than 10 years, he's been driving a taxi through the streets of Nairobi. Why? Because there are no retirement benefits or social security for people who played football. Nothing for our heroes. Why? That's what we want to discuss. Why do we forget our living legends? And he is a living legend. My Twitter handle is @KoinangeJeff. The hashtag is JKL. Let's get busy. Kadenge Nampira.
Kadenge na ball. Kadenge anayo.
You know, you look so good for 79.
Kadenge nayo.
Kadenge nayo.
Kadenge na mpira.
Kadenge na mpira.
Watu walikuwa nafikiria mimi na mpira na kimbia nayo. Lakini mpira ilikuwa chini, ilikuwa naisukuma. Ilikuwa inakwama kwa mguu. Na nikiweka kwa mguu haitoki. So that is why Kadenge na mpira. Yeah. Watu walikuwa nafikiria na huyu Kadenge, is you the only person on the pitch? Lakini watu wakujua ujanja wangu. Nilikuwa nikipata mpira nitakupa, unipe haraka.
1-2.
So yule mwenye kutangaza ataona tu ni Kadenge na mpira. Haoni yule mtu ambaye nilipeana mpira na akanipa. Kwa sababu nilikuwa napeana wananipa. I open, they give me.
Yes.
So nilikuwa Kadenge na mpira. Nakata watu. Go.
Take me to that game in 1958. Many of us were not around, but we still remember. We hear stories about that game.
If you say you are not around, yes. Where were you?
We were not.
How old were you by then?
I was 0.8.
0 point.
I was -8.
That was a big year for me.
58.
That is when Kadenge was born.
Go on.
In football. Because I had just played for Kenya for 2 years, but I didn't have that confidence in me. But in 1958, the cup was to be played at City Stadium.
Gossett Cup.
And you know, those days, our officials were the big people, the white people.
Yes.
They were Zungu.
Yes.
So they used to take care of us. So that is what they came to watch the match at City Stadium.
Even the governor was there?
Of course, the governor was there. Even his hat, I don't know whether he went with it back because he threw it on the pitch.
Why?
After I had scored.
How did you score the goal?
Because when I got the ball.
From halfway,
I said I was not going to give a pass to anybody because I thought I would beat anybody who is in front of me. And that's what I did. I got the ball and I said, go to hell. I'm not going to give a pass. Yeah. I'm going to dodge these people and score. We must beat them. And I got the ball from the half line. I don't know how many people. I can remember some of the people I used to beat who are in front of me. I found them in front of me again. I've beaten you, I've left you, but you are in front of me again. That means you fall and then you turn to come and face me again.
And you tackle them again?
I tackled them again until I remained with the goalkeeper, Agad. And I said, where do I put the ball? Because I'm left with the goalkeeper.
Yes.
He's like these days, I strike against the ball and he doesn't know where to put the ball. So I remained with the goalkeeper and goalkeeper with 3 posts. So I'll have to put the ball where it ought to go.
And you did?
And that's what I did. And the governor was mad. He took the hat and threw it on the pitch. That is why I remembered and I said, that governor threw the hat on the pitch. I should also be having a hat, just to be like a governor, because he honored me on that day.
Yes.
So that's how Kadenge name was born, Kadenge Nampira.
Kadenge Nampira.
1958, City Stadium.
Did you end up winning Gossett Cup that year?
That was the final.
That was the final.
That was the final. When we beat Uganda 2-1, and we got the cup.
2 years before, when you were named to the national team, they wouldn't allow you to travel to Uganda. Because they said you were too young.
It is true. That was it. We went for training in Kisumu. The national team was training in Kisumu, so that we could take a bus to Uganda, to go by bus, not by plane. So when we were training, some of the national players had not reported to camp. They were from Nairobi. People like Isaac Lugonzo, Stephen Ocheng, and Bernard Ejodi. They were not even in camp. And we had only 2 days to leave to go to Kampala. So they started dropping some players so that at least when the Nairobi boys come, they will fill the gap. So they dropped me. And when I was just leaving, I met Isaac Lugonzo and Job and Stephen Ocheng at the gate. And they asked me, where are you going? I said, I'm going back to Nakuru, because I was working in Nakuru.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going back to Nakuru. Why? I've been dropped by people like Lidonde, like Shem Chimoto. They say I'm very young, I cannot make this trip.
And you were the best player?
I was the best player, and I was saying, I wish they took me there, even to carry the clothes, to carry their uniform.
Yeah.
But they said, no, we don't want him, we don't want this boy, let him go. You know what happened the following year? I was the first person to be selected for the national team in 1957.
Wow.
And those who dropped me were dropped. So you can feel how they felt.
Yes.
How I felt.
You were the best player, weren't you?
I was. I thought so. Because I thought I was the best.
Yeah.
And that I proved the following year, 1958. Yeah.
When we look at players today on TV, we look at Messi, Ronaldo, Rooney, players of repute. Could you have been as good as them if you were playing 50 years later? Could you?
I always say my mother brought me on this earth earlier.
Too early.
Too early. I wish it was not by those days when I was playing. I think I would have made it.
Could you have been as good as these guys?
I would have made it. When I see Messi is a good player, Ronaldo is a good player, but I always think I would have even played better than them. Because I can see Ronaldo can dribble 2-3 players. I could do the same. I could beat anybody who was in front of me. So I always think that I wish I was playing those days.
Yeah.
I think I would have been a millionaire. I would have been a billionaire, not a millionaire even. But anyway, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I was born in Kenya, where we didn't have, people to play for money.
Yes.
There was no money.
Yes.
Those days when you are given 20 shillings, you are very happy. 20 shillings, that is enough for me. 50 bob, you are a damn rich man.
50 bob?
Yes.
Not 50 million?
No, 50 bob. Then you are happy.
So you were born at the wrong time?
I tell you, I regret.
Shame. But look, today, they don't even pay the players as well as they should here. That's why football Kenya, or football in general, has never progressed.
But in Kenya, there's no professional football. I would say there's no professional football. So how can they be paid well? There's no professional football.
Why can't we get to that stage then?
And then people don't go to watch football so that they can pay more money so that these players can be paid. They don't.
Whose fault is that? Why don't we go and support our team? Whose fault? Is it our fault?
If you don't like football like you, how often do you go to the stadium yourself?
My friend.
When did you last watch a football match at Nyayo Stadium or City Stadium?
My friend, if I could sing you the Gor Mahia song, will you be surprised?
You can sing, but you haven't seen them play.
What?
You can sing, but you haven't seen them playing.
Kadenge, I used to be one of the biggest supporters In school, they called me Pele. Me.
Yourself?
Me. One of your greatest heroes, right?
I don't believe you are called Pele. And Pele was my favorite player in the world.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You don't believe? Kwani sikai hivyo? Sikai?
You don't look like a footballer. You don't look like a footballer.
What do I look like?
You look like a rugby player.
I played that too.
Yeah, okay. If you played rugby, I would agree.
Yes.
Yes.
But let me ask you this, Joe, because we Kenyans are rabid supporters of English teams. If you ask people here, if you ask anybody, Man U, big fans. Arsenal, big fans. Chelsea, Man City, now that they've won the championship. I mean, they could name every player on those teams. Ask them to name players on the Harambee Stars. They can't.
The same to me. I support the English teams.
But you support local as well.
Yes, I support also local. But sometimes you look at the local team and say, where are we heading to? You know, you cannot even reach where other teams are reaching. Like Man U, I support them from 1958. And ask me why?
Why?
Why do you support Man U? And I think my reason is really reasonable. In 1958, can you remember what happened to Man U?
Yes.
They had
plane accident.
Yes. And all the players died. So from that time, I said, I was a great footballer in 1958. So I felt if it was me who died with the Kenyan players, it would be really very sad. So I thought Man U have lost the full team. So the ones who are left behind are just like orphans. So I said I will have to support the orphans so that we can feed them, so that they can grow up.
And they did.
And that's why I've been supporting Man U up to this time. They lose, they win, still my team.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had a pretty rough season this time.
I tell you. But you could expect to be always on top.
This is true. This is true.
Yes.
Just like in your team. I mean, how good was Harambee Stars when you played? How good were you?
People would have said, not me. I could not say that my team is good. Let people say.
But against other East African teams, how good were you all?
We were not even doing better. But, you know, people will recognize some good players in the team. You know, when we were playing Uganda, always it was a big war. You know, you play Uganda, you will win or you will lose. Always. That was our big enemies.
Yeah.
The same to Tanzania. And Uganda hardly could beat Zanzibar. So it was just... But Kenya and Uganda were big enemies. And up to now, when Kenya plays Uganda, you never know who is going to win.
Correct?
Yes.
Correct. You were playing 5 years before our current president was born. Did you ever meet his father?
Jeff, I'm proud because my boss now, Kenyatta Jr.
Yes.
is my president.
Is your boss?
Is my boss now.
Yes.
And it's just like my son, because my first born were born in 1961, like the president.
Correct.
I'm happy to have my son ruling me, taking care of me, and I hope he's watching this.
He's watching.
This thing.
He's watching.
They should take care of the old ones there. Their father, you know, people who brought them on this earth. His father was not a football fan, but he was an athlete fan. So Kenya played one game at Uhuru Park, and that was, it was not actually Uhuru celebration, but to remember Uhuru. So they came in 1965, Uganda was playing Kenya at Jamhuri Park. And our president was invited. I used to meet him. I met him even at State House. So he came to watch our match. I was not playing that day. I don't know why.
You were on the bench?
I was on the bench.
Just like here?
But not here.
Oh, okay.
On the stands. I was watching the match.
You're a spectator?
Yes. That game. We were not included in the team. And you know how many our team was beaten? 13. 13-1.
Were you playing football or cricket?
I think it was football, not cricket, football.
13-1.
And you know what the president said? He was wondering why he doesn't see Kipchoge on the pitch. He said, Kipchoge is not on the pitch. He's not playing.
Yeah.
And then people, I think the security told him, this is not athletics.
This is football.
It's football. So Kipchoge is not playing now. Otherwise, you would have seen him.
He didn't ask for Joe Kadenge. Maybe he meant Joe.
No, I don't think. So he said our team is being, he left before the game was over. He left the stadium before the game.
I would leave too, 13-1. I would leave.
So that was really very embarrassing to the president to come and watch football for the first time.
Right.
And we are hammered like that.
Have you met his son yet? Your new boss? Have you met him?
I've met him, I've greeted him, but we have not talked.
Okay.
I've not talked to him.
We're going to take a commercial break, come back, and also talk about when you were ill in 2006. Remember that 3 weeks when you were very ill? Yes. That's when you realized at least Kenyans love you, right?
Yes.
I want to talk about that because, it was a special time for you. You were going to die.
I was already dead.
Hold that thought. Don't die yet. Joe Kadenge, living legend.
If you take care of me, then I won't die.
We don't want him to die because he is a living legend. 79 years old, still going strong, folks. Drives a taxi around town. But goodness gracious, how much more longer can he do that, folks? We need to honor our heroes and living legends. Jeff Koinange live from the Terrace Restaurant of the Intercontinental. Takes a break, and we'll be back in a moment.